Welcome to Feminine Fitness, a podcast for women that want to make simple shifts in their fitness and nutrition that make a big difference. I'm your host, Joelle, and I've been a health and fitness coach for over a decade. I teach women how to look and feel vibrant every day with workouts, food, and mindset changes that support feminine hormone cycles. Each episode, I will give simple tips that are easy to implement that align your goals with cycle syncing. If you feel like achieving your health and fitness goals is always a fight against your body, I want to help you stop the struggle and work with your body. I'm so glad you're here and welcome to today's episode. Hello, my friend. Welcome to today's podcast episode. I am so excited to just chit chat with you because I am in a luteal phase funk, and I wanted to talk about luteal phase funks and how luteal phase, the phase after we have ovulated and in between when we start our menstrual phase, what it feels like in action. A lot of times I'm recording my podcast episodes in follicular and ovulation, and I have these like rose-colored glasses on. My communication center is open and thriving. I've got lots and lots of ideas and energy and enthusiasm, and I usually record my podcast episodes during those phases. But there's sometimes like today where I'm like, I want and need to get a podcast episode out. I don't know what to talk about. What should I talk about? What should I give value? I'm like, really just need to be real with you guys. I have heard from you that you love these type of podcast episodes that are chit chat with a friend, that include science behind cycle syncing and real life tips that we can use for health and fitness. But overall, sometimes we just need a lighthearted friend girl chat to listen to. Those are actually becoming my favorite podcasts to listen to, ones that have maybe two besties that are chit-chatting or two people that are having a real life conversation together, or other podcasters like me where it's like we're not always teaching and training and guiding and trying to solve your problem. We really just want you to feel like you've got a friend to link arms with in this. So let's talk about the luteal phase funk. But before I get into that, if you missed out on the Feminine Fitness Bootcamp, it's the last group coaching boot camp that I am running in this year. The next one won't be until 2022. Wow, that's crazy to think about. But Feminine Fitness Foundation, so my self-paced course that you can take to learn how to sync with your cycle, your fitness, nutrition, lifestyle. I've got my 4-week strength training program in there, as well as a metabolism module, so you stop suppressing your metabolism and start increasing your metabolism as you're working towards your health and fitness goals and thriving in life. That Feminine Fitness Foundations is open for enrollment. The link to that is always in my show notes or my Instagram bio. But let's talk about the luteal phase funk. So in luteal phase, the time in between ovulation and before our menstrual phase happens, that is when our estrogen is slowing down. It is decreasing, right? Our estrogen levels are on the decline. Our progesterone is increasing, and our progesterone is really more of a mellow hormone. It makes us feel this like mellow type of way, but in our society and in our interpretation, I feel like we've got it twisted that it feels like a funk, when really it should just feel more centered. It should really feel more grounded and rooted. We don't always have to be so outward and bubbly and thriving and wanting to go to that group fitness class or wanting to go hang out with friends. Like this is really more of a mellow mood where you want to be by yourself or, get cozy. It's a harder time being like, oh, I don't really feel like going to the gym today. Right? And so honoring that, there is good that can still happen. There is still progress to be made during luteal phase. It's just changing up the intention and the process. So don't compare your luteal phase self with your follicular and ovulation self. Know that she will be coming back. She has strengths. She also has weaknesses. You've got weaknesses that you miss out on during follicular and ovulation too. But in luteal phase, you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, last week, because truly last week I had so many things where I'm like, I could do these lives and I could do these team calls, and was like, I've got all these podcast episode ideas, and it was all just like floundering around in my head. And today I'm like, how come I literally can't think of one thing to talk about or one thing to share? Or why do some of those ideas that I have feel like it's not the right time to start those things, right? Or even with my workout today, I was like, I truly have to pick a workout that I feel like I want to do, not just necessarily the one that is on my calendar and my schedule of my program. So just doing things a little bit different and not comparing myself and being like, oh, well, that must mean I'm not passionate about what I'm doing, or that those goals and those ideas that I had, I should just set them aside because I'm really not feeling with them right now. Like, we all have these times of like thoughts and creativeness, and like it's all just vibing, and then there's this time where it's maybe not clicking. It's maybe harder to focus. It's maybe not feeling like you want to get a whole lot done. And that is okay, because you can honor that. You can still get things done. You can still show up in the places that you need to show up. It's just with different intention and different expectation. So for me today, I was like, I don't feel like coming on and like teaching this big, huge like podcast episode where we're talking about a topic and I go over some scientifics. I was like, I really just want to be real. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still getting an episode done, but it's just showing up in a different way. Another thing is I was feeling like I didn't have any ideas on podcast episodes, but because in luteal phase, your brain is really great at the completion of things and the behind the scenes things. So I was like, what are some of the behind the scenes things I can do in my home, in my work, in my business, in my podcast, in all of things? What are some of the behind the scenes things that I could do that are still going to be in alignment with my goals, but it's just different? And one of the things I thought of was, I'm not having fresh ideas of podcast episodes, but you guys, when I went into my analytics of my podcast and looked at it with my luteal brain, I was like, wow. So it's coming up on almost 1 year of being the Feminine Fitness Podcast. For those of you who don't know the story behind my podcast, I was in a midlife crisis, and 2 years ago, I started a podcast because I knew God gave me the gift of gab. Hello, hi, how are you? It's just a gift that I think I have. I don't know. Some people don't like my gift of gab, but I do. I think it is a strength, and I knew podcasting is just meant for me. I don't even care the income that it generates. I don't even care, if 5 people listen to it or 5,000 people listen to it, I would still show up on this mic. I like it. I love helping you. I love this long form content. I love stumbling over my words. But anywho, back to the point, I went into my podcast analytics, and it's about a year ago that we started Feminine Fitness Podcast, where I really got into this topic of health, fitness, nutrition, cycle syncing, and then just overall how this all meshes into a realistic lifestyle for us women that are working and we've got kids and we don't want to think about how our body is looking all of the time. About a year ago, that's when we made the shift to this. And in this year, the podcast has had a 75% growth. So in my first year of podcasting, I was talking about intentional productivity. So yeah, there was some health and fitness related things, and I podcasted on that subject for a whole year. And from my first year in podcasting to my second year in podcasting, I experienced a 75% growth in year 2 compared to year 1. Wow. And that is all because of you, my friend, listening and downloading and subscribing and sharing it on your stories and, sharing it just with your friends. Like, I think that's a powerful and impactful thing when you text it to your bestie or to your sister-in-law or to your whoever needs to listen. I think that's more impactful and powerful. And thank you for that. The podcast has also hit 50,000 downloads. And I do have a goal of like 100,000 and eventually someday 1 million podcast downloads. I have that vision for this podcast. But hitting 50,000 downloads, and majority of those downloads, like I said, in the last year, we've had 75% growth. So majority of those downloads have been in this last really year to 6 months. And I want to thank you for that. And I really want to encourage you to connect with me, to know that I am here as your health and fitness bestie that's realistic, right? We talk about things on a scientific hormonal level, but also in a real life level too. So thank you. Just like overall, thank you. And how I got out of this luteal phase funk, going from feeling like meh today, like ugh. I did some strength training. I took a shower. I did my makeup all cute, even though my hair's in like a simple ponytail. I've got some joggers on and like a cute sweatshirt. I still didn't feel like putting on like jeans today because my belly's feeling a little bloated. But I looked at my analytics because in luteal phase, our brain is like geared towards that administrative side, and working in that space, that strength gave me mojo in so many other ways. Like seeing what your top 10, my top 10 most downloaded episodes of all time. When I looked at that, I was like, wow, I could do, if you guys love these topics, I could do more episodes that have kind of like spin-off or a little bit more of a deeper dive into those episodes. So if you guys ever have a question or a topic idea that you would love for me to cover, send me an Instagram DM. Like that's where I'm hanging out majority of the time. But if you do want to keep it like more personal, if you're not a socially type of person on the social media, feminine fitness coaching at gmail.com, my friend, email me. If you're like, I'm in Instagram DM, email me. I'm there for you. So reach out to me with any ideas or questions that you have around cycle syncing, and I would love to make them into podcast episode for you. But you guys do want to hear the top 10 most downloaded episodes of this show. It's really kind of cool to see because I can get a glance at the ones that you guys are loving. How to wake up early. I don't know how that one became so popular because with SEO and all of that, it's mediocre, but that one it's like my top most downloaded podcast episode. I uploaded it in February of 2020, so I was still I was still intentional productivity at that time. But I still stand by all that advice I give on how to wake up early. I recently redid another one, which was really great, and I did roll in cycle syncing into that. But the second most downloaded episode is meal planning and prep hacks for busy moms. Such a good episode. I absolutely love that episode. I got the idea of doing some like quick and simple meals for families as a working mom, and really just talking to you guys about how making dinner time can be a bit more seamless. How to start tracking your cycle. I just re-uploaded that one, and I'm going to be doing a part 2 of how to start syncing with your cycle. Morning routine tips. I love that episode as well. That is a newer episode that I uploaded in August. So that was really cool to see how that one just like shot right to the top of the charts. Why you lose motivation to work out is the 5th top episode. Best productivity hacks. Maintain your weight loss and your fitness while enjoying ice cream too. So that's a really good like fitness, nutrition, balance episode. How to get back on track. Enjoy exercise, how to like working out. That is episode number 9 top most episodes. And then Out of Control Cravings was the 10th most downloaded podcast episode. So like I'm going to be looking at these topics and thinking about like what was in those episodes, how can I make them better, what are some tips that I can improve upon with them. And I hope today's episode was just insightful on how, sometimes when you're not feeling it, approaching things in what is your strength in this phase can oftentimes move that mojo forward. But then also it can be really beneficial to know your energy and your cycle and learning how to conserve it. So for example, for me, I just have my best energy in the morning. And yeah, during follicular and ovulation phase, I work in the morning, I take a lunch break, and then sometimes I come back into the office and I get more work done. Today in luteal phase, I'm going to be wrapping it up at about 11:30 a.m. About 11:30 a.m. And then I'm going to honor myself, my energy, my cycle. Yes, I know as an entrepreneur, it is a luxury that I have worked towards to create this type of cyclical schedule that I can say I'm done with work at 11:30 today. But it truly is important for you as a woman to just understand where you're at in your cycle, how that impacts you, how you can work in your strengths during that phase, and then go at it with different intention and expectation, right? So whether you are at a job where you have a boss and you can't just be like, hey, I'm checking out today at this time, because you'd get fired. Like, I get it. I get that some of you have that, but can you change the expectation and intention for yourself while you are in that space and place? Absolutely you can, right? Absolutely you can. And work in your strengths too in that area, because are there some things at your job or in your home or in your environment that are more administrative? Like, get in the groove with that first. So I hope today's episode was helpful to you. If you're wondering, like, how can I start syncing with my cycle in all these areas of my life in the most simple way, you've got to become a member of the Feminine Fitness Foundations. You go in there, you watch the Getting Started video, you figure out what phase you're in, you watch that phase's video, you download the resources, and you start supporting yourself in that phase, and you just stay focused on that phase. When you're going into the next phase, you take it one phase at a time. I've broken it down for you very simply. If you're like, I don't have time to do a course, you guys, this podcast episode has been longer than some of my Feminine Fitness Foundations lessons. I'm very straight to the point. I'm very concise. The resources that you get are very straightforward and to the point. And so I will leave the link to that in the show notes, but also know it is in my Instagram profile bio link as well. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you so much for the growth that this podcast has had. I truly appreciate you. I do want to be bringing a Protea giveaway to the podcast pretty soon for the 50,000 download celebration. So listen for that in the next. Hold up, my friend. Wait a minute. Do you wish there was a way to stop the weight loss struggle? Let's end the misery of cutting calories and increasing cardio as our only approach to achieving our goals. And I know what it feels like to be constantly obsessing over my body, working out harder, eating less, while not seeing results, and actually seeing things go completely backwards. Imagine if you knew how to work with your body. What would it be like to deeply know and understand what your body is going through and give it exactly what it needs to look and feel your very best? This is exactly why I created the Feminine Fitness Foundations course, where I teach you how to sync your fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle with your cycle while increasing your metabolism. You will walk away with understanding each phase of your cycle, what is supportive for each phase, and I know that most plans have you focus on what to cut out, stop doing, or eliminate. But my approach is teaching you to focus on what is supportive for your body and what to do to enhance your everyday life, not deprive you from it. For a limited time, the Feminine Fitness Foundations is available as a self-paced beginner's course. If you get started right now, you will get access to the course and bonus materials like my cycle syncing cheat sheet, meal plan, food list, and 4-week strength training program. You guys, go to tinyurl.com/Feminine Foundations and enroll right now. Like, go right now, sister, because I cannot wait to help you realize your hormones are your superpower, Not the Curse of Aunt Flo, and how to use cycle syncing strategy to work with your body instead of against it. So the link again is tinyurl.com/feminine fitness, or you can check out the link in the show notes of this episode, or it's always in my Instagram bio as well.